Now, I would like to welcome everybody to my presentation. Thank you for coming to this year's web conference organized by Virtual World Best Practices in Education. And I will be focusing on Transmedia Storytelling for English language teaching in virtual worlds, mission accomplished. And I will be sharing with you about my recent experience. Actually, it's not that recent. Let's go into more details then. My name is Helena Galani, and I'm Erlina Azure in Second Life, Helena Galani on Kitely, the same on ScienceSpace, Edmondo for Indire, and OpenSim. I will be talking through my experience teaching in Greece, in the UK, as moderator for EVO, and of course as online tutor and teacher trainer. As accredited ELT educator, I have been blending and flipping my classes, implementing transmedia narrative to bring educational material to life in virtual worlds. I don't know if you've had any experience teaching transmedia storytelling for your classes. If you have, could you please type yes or sure or anything in the chat box? Okay, Diania, you have, very good. And Maria has, lovely. Okay, Laura. So let's look at the details, what we will be focusing on. As learning environments are being redefined in order to meet learner needs, the principles of transmedia storytelling make an impact on the classroom, of course, because of how technologically advanced learners are today. You will be amazed at how much your students can teach you with technology. Virtual world affordances, mobile devices, social media platforms, digital media, augmented reality, and learning management systems are the new equipment of the educator. So here we're going to find out today how Mythos, Topos, and Ethos are best implemented in a virtual world to enhance the language teaching process and experience. So my aim for today is to raise awareness of the usefulness of transmedia storytelling in the contemporary English language teaching class in multi-user virtual worlds. I think we should be realistic and consider the facts, which are the recent pandemic and the restrictions that it has caused. With the spread of the new pandemic and the global health emergency, new measures need to come into effect to ensure population safety and health, and of course, our students' safety. It seems that schools are not temporarily closed any longer. To prevent prolonged school closures, to flip and blend hybrid classes, innovation and smart new technologies come to the rescue and support education, which is a fundamental human right. So, is this our nature? Is this our cultural DNA? This interactive form of entertainment actually is an exception, it's not the norm. As Jenkins points out, Jenkins is the father of the term convergence culture, and he is the one who has invented the term transmedia storytelling. I will be telling you more about this. So Jenkins highlights the transition from industry discourse focusing on mass audiences to changing relationships and experiences with new media. Look, this is what you can learn from your students or from your children in the first place. Our English language learners are occupied with a lot of different digital applications in all folds of their lives. It's their kind of self-expression. They use social media, Instagram, Edmodo, Padlet, TikTok, Snapchat, but they also use virtual worlds a lot, such as Minecraft, SnapTube, Tempo, Avakin Life, to name but a few. Here are some pictures I have taken with a student on Avakin Life. She has taught me quite a lot, actually. Yes, it is a free, keen option for teenagers. Well, what is necessary nowadays? With the emergence of new technologies, learners are now in the position to get out of the intimate and personal zones they had been restricted in and into the social and public zones for the purposes of enhancing their learning experience. As Jenkins points out, transmediate storytelling is telling a narrative across time by using a variety of different media platforms. And he also stresses that stories that unfold across multiple media platforms, with each medium making distinctive contributions to our understanding of the world, are a more integrated approach to franchise development with models based on our texts and ancillary products. Another definition given by Wendick, it's a more philosophical definition. He suggests that transmedia storytelling offers audience investment and lets them act as collaborators. And also, second, the story was intended to be a transmedia experiment from the very beginning, in his opinion. All these points make sense in your classroom. So how do you ensure that yours is a transmedia storytelling lesson? Well, if your story unfolds across more than one format of media, then it is transmedia. We will come to more details on this. These transmedia storytelling formats are, of course, immersive, inspiring, interactive, expandable, coherent and shareable. They are participatory and motivating. See what they do to your students. They get excited and they become motivated and give the best of themselves. This is an extract from the material that I've created for EVO, Immersive Storytelling in Virtual Worlds. And it's worth having in mind that transmedia storytelling is a team effort. Whether you teach privately or in the state sector, you can promote your learners' products, educational products, and share them with other classes. It is engaging and participatory. It has the potential to meet the needs of the 21st century learner. It has a narrative structure that promotes both the language, semiotics that is, and media narratology, communicated through a wide variety of media such as oral and written language, gestures, and music. And the same narrative can be seen in many different forms. It doesn't adhere to a positive approach. So depending on the aims of your lesson, you can blend, you can integrate skills. And this will be very exciting for your students in world. So some new formats supporting transmedia storytelling, what are they? This is an inexhaustible list. You can add to this. Web documentaries, films, machinima. Serious games that have levels, rewards, and they are playful. Alternative reality games. There's a fine distinction between reality and fiction for these particular games. Participative experiences, like co-creators. Content is available to everybody. This is what happens with your students. They become creators and they exchange material between them. You can also involve them in digital publishing. You can use mobile apps. For example, later on I will suggest some augmented reality apps that you can blend with reality or a virtual world. E-publishing for storybooks, for posts on your site or on your blog, role-playing Twitterature, or any kind of role-playing on social media, podcasts, illustrated story or audiobooks, virtual worlds, of course. Why is transmedia storytelling a rewarding experience for your students? Well, obviously it helps reach a wider audience. Being available online, it can become easily public. Although you can also decide what to share and what to restrict. You build a strong community around your project. You create expandable narrative universes. Well, some would claim that there are even funding or granting opportunities. There's learner collaboration. Your students acquire new skills for design, script, software. Well, not that they don't possess all these skills already. You will be amazed how much they know. And some material I've also used during the EVO 2021 session on immersive storytelling in virtual worlds is the 7 principles of transmedia storytelling by Jenkins. Transmedia storytelling is characterized by spreadability of the content throughout various channels. There's also drillability. More information is searched about the universe of the story. So your students are involved in a lot of searching, especially online, and a lot of discussions with their parents. There's continuity, consistency, and the credibility of the universe created. There is multiplicity, accessing alternative versions of the characters, the worlds of the stories. Obviously, it's immersive in all worlds that are part of the transmedia universe. There's extractability, so elements can be taken from the universe to integrate in your learner's daily life. World building is another principle. There's a detail setting, detail for character. Your students are involved not only in narrating, but also in sketching, in creating, constructing the character. Another characteristic of transmedia is seriality, as we said before, across multiple segments and across multiple media. Subjectivity through different characters and viewpoints. Your students can personify the characters and they can behave like them, or according to what they think and how they perceive the character behaved. Performance is the last principle, which is very important because the learner is the evangelist of the story and its hidden messages. So there's multiple potential of transmedia in virtual worlds for English language or for any language teaching in that matter. Your avatar can take all forms and shapes for the purposes of your lesson aims. Why do I suggest transmedia storytelling in virtual worlds, you will say? It adds color to my classes, and I believe that it applies to any class through role plays, reviews, learner paintings, games, art, songs, storybooks, bedtime stories, machinima, vlogs, music, fashion designs and fashion shows, photo gallery, interviews, and through dispersing the content across various commodities, of course. This is a view of ELT Treasure Island on Kitely, the lighthouse where we've had quite a few role plays and machinima. ELT Treasure Island is for younger learners, and I find it a safe destination. So it's restricted particularly to that group. In an online transmedial class, the learner reads a chapter or watches a machinima of the story on prims in world. They collect information about the characters. They identify with the character also, the identity of the character. They find information about the historic location. They analyze and visualize the ideological, the spatial, and the time-related details of the story. Obviously, they interact with the objects containing images, media, script, animation, and Second Life is very rich in that all these years. Your learners perform tasks while immersing in world and online through a transmedia-orientated class. They play immersive games in world based on the lesson aims. They create and share similar resources for fellow learners across different media. They navigate, they teleport to different destinations, or they recreate the environment themselves. They give you instructions how to do this, actually. They've got an opinion of their own. They make an avatar resembling the book heroes, or the heroes that they have made up in their imagination. They plan and build fictional universes or simulations where the story unfolds. They live the experience through enactment, through reenactment, and realistic conversations with the heroes. They disperse the content across various media, as we said before. This is also another slide that I have come up with for EVO 2021. Here you can see an example that my students and I have created. It's a gallery. We call it the Oscar Wilde Gallery on ELT Treasure Island, Kitely. And the younger ones have been creating and exhibiting their own work based on short stories that we have recreated and sort of brought into life on this island, on a skybox, in fact. They've created and they have put up their own machinima around the stories, immersive books, diaries, podcasts, on prims. And here you can see some more images. snapshots of learners' educational creations at the gallery, at the particular gallery. There are also a lot of other galleries around in world where the learners leave their creations. They can be an outcome of a lesson, or they can just be something extra that they have come up with, or it can be based on characters that we have met through immersive lessons. Please feel free to visit our online gallery. It's called Virtual World of Art, and my students and I will be very pleased if you visit it and leave a comment about what you think on the Padlet I will provide with at the end of this session. You can find a lot of photographs we have taken, not only of transmedia storytelling lessons, but also of the island itself. Another way in which my students produce and recreate and spread information about the stories is this site here on anchor.fm with learner podcasts. They love being interviewed about different characters, about the symbolism of different short stories by Oscar Wilde. This year we've been focusing on Oscar Wilde. In the past, we've also produced different machinima and educational end products on other short stories that are on public domain, such as, for example, Aerophili by Hortatzis. I'll let you know more about this in a few minutes. Or Spartacus, that you may have heard about, a warrior, an ancient Greek warrior from Thrace, northern Greece, actually. So you can find playlists by clicking the link I will provide with at the end in the resources section. A site dedicated to transmedia storytelling that we've used is Symbaloo, and it's dedicated to Spartacus, as I said before. You can find all sorts of material there. You can find Machinima, you can find Google Docs, you can find other platforms on which the learners have left information about this legendary warrior. Can I just leave a couple of minutes? Yes, Symbaloo is very practical and safe, isn't it? Yeah, I agree with you, Thunder. Please click on this link and you will be able to hear one of the students actually acting out his role as Spartacus. And when you come back in a couple of minutes, please type in back or done in the chat, so we will resume. Of minutes from this machinima. The benefits that learners gain by producing their own machinima, and lovely professor, okay, thank you. They get a very vast number of benefits from this. They improve their pronunciation and they take initiative to do, as we said before, their own. Yes, you can skip the credits for now, Dinia. Lovely. Boys especially like this kind of topic and they become even more motivated. Some more platforms, medium, commodities, whichever name you want to give it, is across different learning management systems. And obviously games in world are a very good way in which to immerse your learner in this transmedial experience. Some of the games are generated by learners They give you instructions if they don't know how to build and how to use script and to texture. They give you instructions how to do it. And they give you instructions about the content also. According to Wendig, emergence is an unexpected or unintended game interaction. He stated on a site that he's starting to feel that the success of a given transmedia project lives or dies on how much emergence it affords. You cannot demand, of course, or force emergent. It only comes up automatically. Transmedia then is not about exploring trendy new platforms. It's not about consuming media. It intends to allow participation in a narrative in powerful and original ways. It becomes a streamlined way to embed media and technology literacies. Here are some characteristics that transmedia storytelling has. It has a participatory approach. The audience becomes actively involved. It's social and creative. The learner is a stakeholder in the transmedia experience. The unfolding of the story enhances other participants' motivation. It's as if they try to produce something better than their peers. This is an infographic that Hayes designed, encapsulating the cross-genre format of online story development and the maintenance required, which should inspire language educators for their transmedia storytelling classes. The axes indicate the likely maintenance required. The top right indicates the most maintenance rich living environments, and the bottom left the least maintenance environments. However, we should bear in mind, because a lot of us work with young learners and teenagers, that there are certain limitations. Transmedia storytelling requires advanced media literacy skills. You may claim that our students already possess these skills, but they don't have the critical thinking. There are media conventions they need to be aware of, and of course there are legal restrictions. So it is in our hands to help them overcome through raising awareness of online etiquette and the need for critical thinking and best practices in world. This is an image of the Toadstool Cottage for the Seven Dwarfs and Snow White on ELT Treasure Island, by the way. So it is a safe and enriched environment for immersive TESOL learning experiences, but so is Second Life for our adult learners, for more mature learners that are more responsible and have a more critical mind. This is some of the material that I have created for EVO, Immersive Storytelling in Virtual Worlds 2021, to help teachers organize their transmedia lessons, and also perhaps to film into a machinima, some of them. We will be letting you know more details about EVO 2021 Immersive Storytelling in Virtual Worlds in our Spotlight presentation in about 1.5 hours. So here's my Transmedia Storytelling Map. It centers around the story universe. It focuses on Mythos, Topos, and Ethos, on music, user-generated content, in our case, the learner. It contains fun elements. It's about the future of the universe also. So we use all the media on the left, like podcasts, as I've told you today, interactive videos, social media, comics, even physical events and blogs, storybooks. But also on the right, we also employ in-world affordances like HUDs, medium prims, teleporters, animations, scripts, avatars, simulations, and there's more detail on this. Mary, I will be coming back to this question later on, if you can spare me some time, please. Here is what Murray recognizes about digital technology's influence on the development of narrative and considers cyberspace, the new media, as the future of storytelling. There's dramatic agency in transmedia storytelling. It helps engage with the fictional world, and it provides human experiences and opportunities to reflect on one's own values. That's done a lot throughout Oscar Wilde's short stories, I'm telling you. There's a narrative extension. It's provided by immersing participants in stories that affect the transmedia story world, by employing game mechanics, by creating consistent, immersive worlds. Here's a canvas thought out by Klastrup and Tosca. They focus on Mythos, Topos, and Ethos. These are three Greek words, which is the true story. Or Mythos can refer to fiction. Any story of anybody, even your student's story, imaginary or real. Stories from the course book, historical extracts, fables, poems. The topos is the natural and artificial environment and its physical description. It shows how spaces and events unfold over time. And ethos represents the values, the rules, the norms that regulate behaviors within the crafted world. Another way of seeing the story world canvas, as illustrated by Pinardi and De Angelis, is topos, epos, ethos, telos, logos, and genos. These are all Greek words again, and you can see the equivalent translation for environment, background story, value system, life objectives, language, system of relations, and all this is done through chronos, through time. And here is an example of topos, location, which is, as we said before, the artificial or natural environment and its physical description. That was, we created 3 episodes of Aerophily, which is, as I told you before, a drama, a tragedy, a dramatic play, in fact, written by Hortatzis on Second Life. And all these scenes are in my holodeck, because I obviously have not a lot of space for all this material. So holodecks are a very nice, very genuine invention. I'm really appreciative for them. And the location was Egypt, Memphis. This is where most of the scenes take place. Another historical location is Thermopylae, which is a very famous place nearby, near where I live in central Greece, but I think it's also very popular worldwide. This particular simulation contains immersive books, scripted objects, animated NPCs, armors, games. These are only a few of the affordances available in this particular simulation. And with all these tools, we encourage reenactment of the historic battle. There are a lot of affordances and possibilities for your classes. They are inexhaustible. You can even play basketball with your students on Second Life. This is a snapshot from a simulation on the model Millionaire by Oscar Wilde, where students act out and leave their material. As I said before, this is the end product of students based on this project. NPCs, HUDs, resas, images on objects, textures, immersive storybooks. And some information, how you can use artificial augmented reality. There's a lot of applications that your students can teach you how to use, in fact. Well, everybody uses Snapchat, Google, and 3D animals on Google, on your mobile phone. Also, you can download Augment, which is a very nice application for mobile phones. And some machinima. Some machinima created by learners. Some more machinima based on learner fiction. These are stories. The first two are stories that students have created. The third one is about the Titanic and the priestess, and it explains how learners, how the Titanic sank. So your learners can leave a lot of information on their learning management system on their YouTube channels in different sources. Some machinima logs instead of vlogs. We thought this is a very interesting new term, neologism, focusing on avatar life and useful competencies. Billy left some very nice ideas about a series of machinima he had watched for other students to gain information. Someone else gave advice about financial literacy. Another group of young learners focused on more advanced ideas connected with financial literacy. All these machinimas, there are resources you can find on Agogipedia or on my YouTube channel. So please feel free to visit or to get in touch. And I think it was it Maria who said if there are any books around transmedia storytelling and English language teaching? Well, you might want to type in anybody who is aware of that. Yes, you can find some resources, some further resources and books in the bibliography on our Canvas LMS system. We will be telling you more about this in the Spotlight presentation later on. And there's actually sparse bibliography about ELT and transmedia storytelling, with the exception of the University of Nottingham research that was carried out on EAP in China. Well, you might want to drop some comments on this Padlet that I've created for you. How do you feel about the use of transmedia storytelling for teaching? Would you try it for your learners? And what is the subject that you are teaching? I would be glad to read what your opinion is and how you feel about the use of this contemporary approach that we are bound to follow, I believe, because this is how things develop. Is there something else you would like to ask me about? So Maria, you teach English as a second language and you're trying to design an escape room in SL. Yes, escape rooms are another very useful technique, very good technique. And Doris will be telling you more about her experience with transmedia storytelling in the Spotlight presentation. Anybody else? Would you like to reflect on that? Why did I pick up the Greek terms rather than say pathos logos? Oh, I see. Why do you think I picked up? Apart from the fact that they are intelligent terms, I think that they represent something deeper. They are more complete as notions. They carry a deeper message. And it is because there has already been research taking place on that by Klastrup and Tosca, as we said before, by Pinardi and De Angelis. Yes, you do. But it also comes in, Dinia, in every language lesson, doesn't it? I mean, we are involved, apart from language, as a language teacher, as a linguist, I'm also involved in teaching directly or indirectly, one way or another, about ethos, about ethics, about critical thinking. This is what it's all about. Thank you. You are a very interactive audience, very passionate, very nice questions. Yes, very basic terms. Yes. Anything else you would like to ask me about? I would be very glad to read your comments on the Padlet. Don't forget, and here's the link again. Please let me know if it works for you. So how do you feel about the use of transmedia storytelling? Do let me know. Thanks very much, everybody. Thank you for attending. And I would be glad to hear that you have used and you have started exploring around this technique. Be sure to attend our Spotlight presentation. Let me type in the link for you. It will be taking place in about an hour and 10 minutes, and the title is When Harry Met Ginny, or How to Fall in Love with Fan Fiction. And we will be giving you more details, and we'll be giving away more secrets about immersive storytelling. We can conduct research, indeed. Yes, there's a lot of research. And may I also thank Second Life once again for the opportunity, and for creating all these nice occasions through which we can exchange ideas